Hey world, it's Tobo. It is July the 22nd of 2014, and welcome back to the party. You'll notice Warning Track is not here, but he is here. It's just his
Hi.
face isn't here.
Yeah. I'm here in spirit. I'm a disembodied voice, like I'm haunting the stream.
Something weird was going on with Skype, because everything seems to be okay with TeamSpeak, and everything seems to be okay with the stream, but whenever we got on Skype, it would immediately drop the call.
Yeah, maybe the video, a little more bandwidth intensive. But the real shame of this is that I got a haircut too.
Oh, you did!
I did. I did. We we
Nice!
we, we have the haircut club for men. And I
Ah,
thought,
that...
and we were gonna do the haircut cast last week, but unfortunately I had to bail at the last second.
Yeah,
Thank you for covering for me, by the way.
you're
And
welcome.
now this week we don't get to have any video. One of these days we will both have haircuts simultaneously, and then we will be unstoppable, Tobo.
Yes! We will be the greatest casting duo of all time in the
So
world
well
of
groomed. I
SpyParty.
don't know if kempt is a word. I know unkempt is a word, but we're both very kempt right now.
Yes, we are. That we are.
That's the real problem. The internet can only handle so much kempt on one stream.
Exactly.
Yes.
Alright. So, I'm dropping frames. Why am I dropping frames?
Dropping them like they're going out of style.
Um... This is a very strange cast so far because
That's saying
A,
something, even for us. That's saying something. Yeah.
everything was fine until I called you, and then Skype was dropping everything, so we switched to TeamSpeak, and now OBS is dropping things. So we don't have your face, and we're dropping frames, and I'm sick.
Ugh, jeez.
So,
It's something about us together. The
so
potency.
yeah.
It
So
just
if I
it's no good.
sound funny, that's why I sound funny. But yeah, I'm dropping frames like a lot of frames, and I don't know why.
I don't
It
know
wasn't
why
dropping
either.
frames before. Let me try the fix everything button and see if that fixes everything. Just give me a moment. The fix everything button does not seem to have fixed everything.
So it really should be relabeled.
Yeah, which literally just means I turned my internet off and on.
That does tend to fix everything.
Yeah, it does. It does.
I tried a fix everything button for my car. My car broke down a couple days ago, and that's what I tried. I thought, well, let's just turn it right back on. It works for the internet.
Oh man. So we seem. This is very strange.
Because it was
I
fine a
don't
second
know
ago, yeah.
whether or not this is a castable situation. I'm going to try and see if anything is doing anything intensive.
I will defer to your judgment,
Shouldn't be.
as always.
My computer is freaking out a bit, but I'm not sure what's causing it.
The powers that be really don't want us to cast.
Yeah, I'm basically just closing as many things as I can and hoping for the best. But yeah, this. God damn it! I had just worked this out as well.
Yeah, you said you reduced the frame rate and it was going a lot better.
Well, I actually increased the frame rate but dropped the quality. And the
Oh, okay.
idea behind that was if we started dropping frames, it wouldn't be as noticeable.
Got it. Got it. Well,
But
you don't
it's
have this
weird.
problem on
It's like
Sundays, do you?
we're. Come again?
You don't have the problem on Sundays, do you?
No, I'm not streaming on Sundays. It's Kaylee that's streaming on
Oh,
Sundays.
that's right. Oh, okay. Yeah.
But we seem to have stabilized a little bit here, so I say before anything breaks even farther, we jump into it.
Well, you're really
So-
tempting fate even saying that, but yeah, let's try it.
Yes. So, a little bit of background. This is a ladder match under the new rules. It's Sharper versus Smash10101. I don't believe any substitutions were made in this set. I think it's just straight up as is on the front page.
Mm-hmm.
And without any further ado, starting things off on the balcony with Sharper on the Spy and Smash on the Sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And if we can get through them all, you're all going to see a lot more variety than we usually get under the new rules here.
You'll even be able to see Courtyard 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately. I gotta say, Courtyard. You say see Courtyard 1. My first thought is that seeing Courtyard 1 is not really safe for work. It's borderline obscene.
Well, I tend to spend most of my time in spy cams, so the field of view thing isn't as much of an issue. So, very slow start here, able to pick up 34% on the flirt, but not a whole lot of action going on at this point. Able to pick up a timer flirt, actually, here. So we're up to 62 on that, with 1 minute and 10 left to play. So we're looking in a decent spot.
Yeah, still going to need a green, though, or 2 flirts. And the fact that he's not going for the window flirt means I guess he's staking a lot on a potential green here.
Keep in mind, seduction target did step out, so we're going to be able to get this... Uh-oh.
Wow. What a shot.
Yeah, that was very impressive.
I guess just for the BB. He must have been waiting for something. He must have... well, you know what? I take that back. It looks like the highlight he originally picked up was for a window flirt with orange dress. And I guess at that point, Smash was just very suspicious of that. And then when he goes back in with orange dress and stays for such a long time before talking, he's starting to put 2 and 2 together. So I think he was tunneled on him and his seduction target pretty much the whole game.
It's always a little bit difficult to tell on balcony, but that seems to be the most likely situation as we step back into the balcony once more with Smash on the Spy this time and Sharper on the Sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Now, of course, usually when you tunnel on someone that early, it's not a good thing, but in this case, if you're tunneling on the Spy...
This wasn't our fault.
Oh, geez.
This positioning was not our fault. That was AI. Freaking jerks.
So white test too, and he doesn't get any flirt off before she leaves.
This is a difficult situation.
But she comes back in close. That's very helpful.
She does at that. 49% on that flirt. That's still doable for
That'll definitely work.
Flirt. Oh god, he right clicked. Oh no. No.
Oh,
you can't right click there.
No, I understand the impulse if it was deliberate, and if you were at the the usual spot, quote unquote, in balcony onto the other side, might have been pretty hard to see. But in that case, looking right at it, and already on the radar for you've white tested on balcony. You probably have a highlight. You know what I mean? You can't assume you're gonna just blend in there. Indeed.
So that was
a lot to say.
Misstep.
Yeah. He might have been okay there. He needed 1 more close green or 2 normal ones. Those both would have worked. I think he had a decent chance of winning that otherwise.
I think so. It wouldn't have been easy, but it definitely would have been doable. And that's it for balcony. We're done on the balcony. We're not going back there again. So...
Yeah, it's hard to cast balcony these days when the timer flirt bar isn't on there. We can see it in the task menu. We can see that the cooldown is finished. But until that's actually, in something, until you can actually see it tick down, a little harder to cast balcony.
I'm starting to get a pretty good feel for when the timer flirt's going to become available, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting better at it.
Alright, so, Courtyard 2. Sharper stepping into the spiral here. Smash on the Sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Takes control pretty quick and bumps into someone immediately, but and stops dead too.
It wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been.
And not as bad as it would have been a few builds ago. That's exactly the kind of thing the AI is more of, so not too bad. Weird that he goes to window between 2 people, neither of them
oh god, oh no. That...
I don't know.
He got stuck on somebody and then tried to shove his way in.
It seems like he might be okay. He did get the flirt off. Really hard to resist that flirted statues there too.
Yeah.
But look what happened.
I don't know, man. That looked bad.
It did. He only gets 1 inspect too because Londo takes the spot of his seduction target very quickly afterwards. So quick that he couldn't do both.
I think Sharper's in a terrible position here.
Yeah, he's got to highlight some questionable pathing. He's got to have a flirt done, but he's also got half his inspects done. He's going to have to go back. And if Smash is really on the ball, he'll notice that and realize he has to go back. And when you realize that and see it happen, that's almost a giveaway.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, he's going for it, and he did not stand close enough. I know. That's just an error. Look, I understand there are a lot of scenarios where you don't want to stand as close. Maybe you want to try to two-flirt, take your time, or maybe you only need 15%, so you should stand far away. Those all make perfect sense. But if you can flirt in one, if you're going to stand close enough to come that close, you can stand a little bit closer.
Indeed. Oh no. That was... Oh, he got away with that bug. Somehow he got away with that bug. It was a very...
And that was a perfectly executed
maneuver.
Yeah, the drink take and leave was really well timed too. It looked very good. He'd leave a little too early or a little too late, but he really nailed it there. It looked very like I thought. Yeah, might salvage this one.
1 minute left on the clock. We need a lot.
He's got to flirt BB and then go in for one more inspect. It's plausible.
No, he doesn't need to BB because BB is frickin' off.
Oh no. Oh no.
What?
I did not even notice. Did not even notice.
Okay, like I understand the idea. Oh my god, I'm dropping so many frames. I understand the idea to see if you can get some fingerprint action going on and try to throw his opponent off by not giving him that flirt timing. I mean that banana bread timing, but at the same time.
Yep. It's
take off Purloin. I mean, why did he fingerprint that? He doesn't have time.
Just because it was there. Just because it was there. What he should do is swap it. I think he's thinking.
I think he should have swapped. I agree with you. I think swap is the only option at that point.
There he goes. He wants a time ad, and he will not do it in time. You know what? Just a lot of mistakes there. First of all, in the beginning, like we both said, really put himself in a bad position. Pretty much turned the game around with the bug. At that point, I wouldn't say he was a favorite, but he salvaged the chance of winning, and it was very plausible at that point. Although, boy, how big would it have been to be done with Seduce already? Huge.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So, and even at the end, he walks along the edge for like a good second and a half when he needs a time ad. It's just very, very bad timing there. You have to swap, I think. Boy, yeah, that's... And the fingerprint ended up taking a little bit of extra time.
Yeah, it did. It did. I think you've got to go for the swap at that point. I don't think you can try for the fingerprint.
Yeah, that's no good. Boy, that's frustrating. That's that was a very interesting game though. It falls behind early.
It was.
Almost swings it with the hardtail, and then just doesn't quite manage the time right.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to get both inspect and fingerprint done in a single round.
Yeah, here's the thing. You take BB off. I understand the logic. I think we all get the logic. But it's one of those things. Well, I think the worst part, this has probably happened to all of us. You take off a soft tail because you want them to watch more hardtails. And then, or you want to throw off their highlighting strategy. But then, you're about a minute and a half into the game, and you look up at the missions, and you realize you have to do another hardtail, and you just go, why did I do that?
Yeah.
That's the worst feeling, but it almost always happens when you take off a soft tail.
Indeed. Because fingerprint's there, you don't necessarily have to do the other hardtail if you can get that fingerprint done.
But then but then you're managing that and flirt, which are both time-based things. It's not that hard to manage one of those if you make a point to, although it takes up a lot of your thoughts. But doing both is actually very hard because you have to space them out very nicely. You got to beat other people to the briefcase. It's really tricky. So you have to be really good at time management, I think, if you want to do all soft tails with fingerprint.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Let's see what Smash can do here with a much more normal mission setup. It's going to be no fingerprint in 3, 2, 1. Play it.
Yeah. Present you is taking off a soft tail. Future you is going to hate your guts.
Yes.
Future you is going to be so mad that you did that. Oh, wow. Early white swap.
Okay. Wow, he's...
Let's see how visible it was.
He's actually confident enough to go for his inspect. He doesn't think that was memorized. And it looks like he's right.
He might be. There were two people at statues. He's got the big-bodied character there, you know, and I don't see any reaction on Sharper's part right now.
Yeah, me neither.
Really? He's over there
trying
to...
There it is. It was wide open there, and absolutely no reaction.
Notice what he did a few seconds later. He highlighted Red Dress and Blondo, and then he bumped him right back down. He's busy trying to pair up flirts.
Yeah, he is.
I can't think of any other reason he would do that. There it is. And that's the downside of doing behavior.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
Oh, no.
That is brutal. Assuming that he actually got away with the swap, which I think he did.
I think he did, too. I think that was his game to lose.
Oh, easily. He had over 2 minutes to do Seduce and BB. All you got to do is not red test or not chase the seduction around too much. That is painful. That's tough.
My internet's like completely exploding. I'm going to throw it to the chat and ask them if they think it's still... If it's worth it to keep going on this, or if you think we should just call it, because this is getting a little bit silly.
Yeah.
It's weird. It seems to almost start to stabilize between the games, and then as soon as we get back into the game, I'm dropping frames like a crazy person again.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
So let me know what you guys think. If you want us to keep going, we totally will. It's your call.
You blow your nose a couple more times.
I could. If you noticed, the first time I turned the sound off.
Yes, so. that's the thing. I know in radio they have a cough button.
Yeah,
that's what they call it, the cough button. It's really any kind of anything button.
Yeah, it's really an oh shit mute button.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Cough, sneeze, whatever. Yeah.
Well, we're fairly stable for the time being, so we may as well step into the next one. It's 2-all, with some very odd games so far, stepping into Modern, so there was a change and I just didn't notice. Jeez. So, Sharper on the Spiral here, Smash on the Sniper in any 2 of 3 Modern, in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Just looking at this map, I gotta say, if you have enough money to afford this kind of place, I would hope you could afford to put water in the pool. Is all I'm saying.
Well, okay.
Sure. Okay.
Oh, the dangers of Modern.
The dangers of being
I get what was going through his head there. I totally get it. It's Papa Danger. That cane hand bug is bloody invisible. If he's banana breading that soon, he's probably trying to finish in like 15 seconds.
Papa Danger's middle name is Inconstant. He is always in danger when you pick him of dying because of that cane bug.
Yes.
Papa is always in constant danger.
This is a very difficult map. For the Spy to pull off, though.
Well, it is if they're impatient. I will say that if you...
No, sorry, I mean this is a very difficult map for the Sniper to pull off. I completely just said that wrong.
Honestly, you can make a pretty good argument that all you want to do is shoot someone for white BB and just take your chances because you know, they're still going to miss it. But if you green BB and then you just hang out and flirt, they might narrow it down a little bit. They might figure out who the Amba is or something, but it's almost impossible for them to get you unless they take that kind of chance.
Yeah. Well, Smash is going to see if he can keep this thing evened up as we step back into things here in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And boy, yeah, he's thinking bug BB real quick. He's getting very paranoid about that, which is understandable.
Yeah. So if that BB comes off real quick...
Tempting. It's tough, yeah.
It is. Everyone's in conversation, but he decides just to go for the flirt. Gets highlight for the flirt timing, though. That's pretty big.
Well, there are let's see, 3 highlights already, though. I think he highlighted everyone who talked really early going.
I think
it's interesting. There really isn't an established rule here. Do you highlight the first talker, the second, the third? The meta keeps moving around. It's pretty random. You can get highlight for talking at all at this point. You're really just rolling dice.
Yeah, I think it's best probably not to... Ooh, gets neutral it there, so...
Yeah.
It apparently wasn't a very strong highlight.
I like the thing, by the way, the BB early in the game. If you see someone who looks like they could have bugged in the first few seconds, just go ahead and BB. Put the sniper on the spot to make that decision.
Yep, there's the BB coming off. It was white, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, pretty hard to tell.
Papa Danger blocks for us and immediately gets shot.
He basically walks out front and just says, go ahead. I was going to say, 2 people were talking during BB, and the third person bailed right after, which is Papa Danger, and he walked right by 2 people and basically just said, "Hey, shoot me."
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Papa Danger for the win.
He just went full-on Terminator. He went like Gus in Breaking Bad, where he just walks out and just dares everyone to shoot him.
Yeah.
Excellent. And it works. Papa Danger is shot in both games.
Wow. That's so
pretty
funny.
Silly. Yeah.
Alright, so it's gonna be Gallery next. Sharper stepping into the spiral here. Smash on the sniper. We have stabilized more or less for the time being. So let's see if we can keep it going here in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Modern is very silly at the moment.
Modern, as is now, is the silliest.
By the way, you can stop talk on that white BB on that map, and the talk animations are so subtle. It's going to really change the game when they become standard, because you can get away with a lot of things. A lot of talks are just not that visible. Especially because you don't have one standard motion with the head to look for, like you do with every character right now.
We're going to have some interesting character meta when the new art's rolled out.
Fingerprint turned off, by the way, in this one.
I'd say that is absolutely fine.
Understandable. I will say that it's very hard, like on Panop, it's hard to reliably be able to get to something like the briefcase because someone beats you to it so often.
Yeah.
So that's really the big risk.
Briefcasing off the... fingerprinting off the briefcase is not really how you want to pick up your fingerprints. You want to get them off drinks. You want to get them off bookcases.
Right.
You want to get them off
statues.
Harder.
Much harder to track, absolutely, because they're not as obvious. By the way, General saddled up next to the Ambassador early on, got a nice little bug, and then took off with a red ball.
Absolutely. It was a very strong start from Sharper there.
Not marked. He's looking around. It's not a whole lot going on other than that, though. I think he's really under the radar. He's got a little flirt in for good measure, you know, lay that groundwork for later. Very important to do, you know, to get that ball started. Might be thinking about microfilming here.
This is an odd little move here, just stopping at the painting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I kind of like it, because spies quite often would either go back into that conversation at the back there, or just walk it straight into the bookcase.
Yeah. Oh boy.
He thought he was a lot more suspicious than he was there, because he went right back to red bookcase to put it back where he found it, which I don't particularly like. But someone else got shot. Sharper able to pick up a bit of a win there off a bum shot from Smash. Not really sure what happened on that.
He got some early suspicion, and I think she just sort of pathed near the Amba a little bit. There was a collision walking out originally, and I think it wasn't that bad, but it's one of those things where you can see how, if you don't see it quite right, you could decide it was a bad collision, and then sort of focus in on it. And Gallery can make you very paranoid, for sure. So
that's very true. But yeah, the new art is going to create a lot of interesting situations, I think.
You know, the first time I ever saw the animations, this was like close to a year ago, I think it was, when he released them. I remember the thing that really struck me, and I said this is to anyone who would listen. I think everyone understands it's going to be a big change. I think we are all still dramatically underestimating how big a change it's going to be.
I completely agree.
Yeah,
it's going to be like really relearning the game almost.
Yeah, it really is. The fact that talks aren't as obvious, the fact that they're not as consistent from player to player, that you can hide them easier, that you really have to watch the... I think you're going to have to zoom in a lot more than you currently do to really see the talks, and I like that. I like that. It makes the game more what it's supposed to be. There's a lot of talk about you know, deception and subtle things, and that's true, but right now you can play, you can camp hardtails, you don't have to play the game the way the mission statement says you should, but I think you're going to have to after the update.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. At least until people start really getting used to seeing all those talking animations from all those different characters and picking them out quite quickly just by sight, even from a distance. Until that happens, it's going to be a very different game.
Yeah, I think it's gonna shock a few people actually how different it feels, and I look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I'm also really excited about the new UI coming out.
Oh yes.
not only because the current UI is kind of ugly and the new UI is really pretty, but also because I've been meaning to like do a little redesign on like all my overlays and stuff and try to make everything look nice and pretty and professional, and like new scoreboard and stuff like that. And I'm waiting on the new UI so I can match things up nicely.
Perfect. Perfect. I look forward to that. Should be very cool to see. And by the way, when we say new UI, we really should say a UI. Because right now, I mean, I'm just saying, right?
Oh man.
I mean, what? It's user interface is what it's called, right?
Yes.
Not really sure that's what we have right now.
Well,
it's a user interface in the way DOS.
It's a user interface. We're going to be getting a graphical user interface.
Yeah, I think it's a user got punched in the interface. I think that's what happened.
Oh man.
I love you, Checker. I love you. He'd be the first to agree with this, though. I'm sure it's going to look very pretty. He has a great art sense. He just did not have time to utilize it yet.
Yeah, because right now we've got white and beige and text.
Yeah, I don't even understand the choice with the beige and the yellow, and it doesn't make any sense to me. But, you know, I'm glad. I like where his priorities lie, but it is time. It is time to make this game pretty.
Absolutely. I think the original idea was like a manila envelope type of thing.
Oh, okay. I can see
that. I think that was the original idea, but it's just that this happened while he was just cobbling together the first prototype, and it just hasn't changed since.
I like the concept, but I played 7,000 games and for 17 months, and I don't think that ever occurred to me until just now. So I think if you'd put that little folder shape around it, that would have probably done it, but otherwise.
Anyways, gallery.
Gallery.
Smash on the spy here. Sharper on the sniper in 3, 2, 1.
I said, speaking of pretty artwork, gallery.
This is nice. It's not high rise nice, and it's certainly not new art nice. But
true, it will be though.
It will be eventually, probably.
Yeah. I can't wait to see those.
Oh God!
Nice.
He had one really nice bounce and one really bad bounce.
Yep, didn't seem to get noticed either way. I really want to see the high-res traffic cones, though. I cannot wait.
Indeed. 49% on that flirt. Very ballsy bug off the front and got away with it completely clean. Not going to pick up a timer flirt, but still, that was nice.
Here's the question. Was that highlight actually for, hey, I thought I might have seen a bug, or was it literally just, that person was next to the Amba and I wasn't watching?
Well, if you noticed, Banana Man got it as well, and he was just on the other side of the Amba. But he got neutral lit for his inactivity there.
Yep. So I think that answers your question. The fact that Banana Man was highlight and the fact that he got bumped back down, it tells me it was just oh, hey, you were next to the Amba and I wasn't paying enough attention to highlight. So he got away pretty clean there, I think.
I completely agree. Stepping into statues here for a couple of inspects. Have not been highlight for it as of yet. It's very good timing on it because this is not usually where the time in the game we're at statues.
I like it. I like doing it a little early. I think that's a good thing to do in the meta these days. I gotta say though, by the way, that just being on the sniper's mind for a while can really come back to bite you even if you're not highlight by the end of it.
That's true.
It sounds goofy, but if you get an early highlight and then they take it off, or if they think you're doing an early purloin and you don't, it was just normal reject, they still spend a lot of time thinking about you, and that can be bad.
Here's the BB coming off. Luckily, he had the SDA out at the front conversation, so not able. I think he's only able to pick up one low-light off of that, which was definitely a misplay.
Yeah, there were 4 to 5 people he might have been able to get there. Now, some people don't bother to do that. This is actually interesting. Most experienced players will prioritize lowlights. That's the first thing they'll look for. But, you know, you remember, when we were all newer snipers, that's not what we did. You remember what we did? We looked for people talking. We tried to figure out who it was. I don't think that's necessarily a terrible idea in some games, to actually prioritize that. I think we've gone too far in the direction of emphasizing the lowlights. I understand
the lowlights are so helpful, though. Just being able to pick up like a good 3 or 4 people who you know aren't it, and then if you're fast and efficient at that, you can still pick up a couple of people who you think are.
I think it needs to depend on the point of the game. In this case, there's probably a little over a minute left. I think you can make a decent argument that at that point you really need to pick high suspects more than you need to weed them out. An early one, you definitely want to prioritize lowlights. But I just think it's interesting that we've swung so far in that direction. We've said, oh, well, we know people can green, so let's not look so much for that because it feels cheap, you know, to catch someone white testing.
Really guarding against swaps here.
Oh, yeah.
Highlight comes off. There's the swap.
Swing back.
Uh-oh.
boy.
Uh-oh. Bit of body blocking going on here. Bit of body blocking. Now you gotta go. He's
Gotta
gonna shoot
move.
you. There it is. 1 second. No seconds. There's the victory. Oh, man. That was tight.
I gotta compliment him on a couple things here. A lot of people, this is good players too, they will do that body block thing way too late. They'll put it down at 6 seconds and say, I'm going to stand here the whole time. And I understand why, because, you know, it's very hard to shoot beforehand, but that is very suspicious. You got to leave in the last second or two and just hope you can dodge, and he did.
Absolutely.
He did it. He went right to the edge of how long you can stand there without getting shot, and he left right then.
Yeah, that was one of the nicest body blocks I've seen in a while.
Yeah. But I like all this stuff coming around, by the way. I like the swap becoming more viable over time because it wasn't viable for a while. I like the idea that we go too far in the other direction with the BBs and the lowlights, and then we kind of come back a little bit. So even though in that case, I think he would have been right to go for lowlights because you could get 4 or 5 big ones. I think I maybe understand what he was going for there. It didn't work out, but I think it's interesting to examine that.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Stuff. Good game. Right on the edge there too.
That one was definitely a really cool one. And
like,
we're still tied up. We've gone blow for blow all the way up. No one's broken serve yet as we step into high rise with Sharper on the Spy here and Smash on the Sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And my internet has finally officially cleared up.
All right, great. Awesome. I was playing. I have not had a chance to play High Rise under the new meta very much, but I did play about 15 games with my teammate Manatters earlier today, and I think he won the majority of them. It really takes some practice if you haven't played it before.
But let me just say this: this is not the meta. Transfer, swap, purloin, inspect, seduce. I'm sorry.
The meta is the classical 3 Softails, fingerprint, and bug. This is nuts.
The meta is 4 soft and bug. That's what the meta is.
Right.
Occasionally you can pull off, if you want to put more cognitive load on the sniper, you can do something like pull off inspects and put on like transfer or something like that. But this?
Yeah, this is pretty bad. And if Smash is on his game, I think he's going to be able to pretty safely ignore the microfilm too.
I'm going to say this. There are only 2 Softails here. You cannot, you almost have to do inspect because you cannot get away with 2 hardtails on this map. I really don't think you do.
That is an excellent point. Your first thought is that, oh no, the normal highlighting thing where you prioritize the inspects and look for that, you'd think, well, I don't know if that works now. Oh no, it works more, because there's no way they can get 3 hardtails done. So you can really pay attention to the inspects now. I would use my highlights for just the inspects, not less, but more. Knowing very well they have to do that. Yeah. Boy, he's got 2 inspects done from early on. He's got a highlight already. He's finished his seduce at least, but he's going to have to get moving.
This is a very difficult position. Minute and 30 to go. 2 inspects and blue book in hand. Here comes the film. It's behind the screen, so he's able to get that blue film in pocket with no trouble. But how is he going to both go to a statue and get this film away in the red bookcase without dying?
Yeah.
How?
That screen is awfully opaque. I was kind of shocked actually at how invisible even that white test was from that angle. You really have to be looking for it.
Yeah, I actually really like having those screens there. I think it's brilliant.
Oh yeah, I think the Spy needs the buffs. I think they might need more when all said and done. I remember while he was designing this level in Twitch chat, I said the Spy is going to die on this so much, and it's unfortunately it's been the case. Ooh, third person
at a bookcase
and a bad entry, and it's the only highlight there. Boy, that's rough.
That's a white test as well. But the movement and the bushy bush gets it off clean. He's got 30 seconds. He needs 1 inspect. How's he going to do this?
I think he's just going to go for it.
Stepping right in. Here we go. Does he die right here? Because he can win this. I don't think Smash is shooting.
If he hasn't shot yet, why would he? Give himself a couple more seconds to shoot, but you usually don't give yourself that long just in case something goes wrong. I think
Oh my goodness, Sharper going absolutely huge on that round. Ooh. Just catching, like on that red bookcase there, it was catching catching Smash on the movement. And when that head was fully turned, it was right behind that big bush. Which it could have still been seen if he was looking for it, but I just don't think he was.
But you have to be with that third person at bookshelves. That has to make you look for a couple seconds. I will say that I liked the first half of the microfilm a lot. I think it was good. The second one, I think, was a big mistake, but he got away with it anyway. Boy, wow. You know, it could be a little bit of, hey, who's going to microfilm that way on high rise?
I don't think it was a mistake. I think it was his only option.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I will say then that the mistake is getting yourself to the point where that is your only option.
Well, the mistake is the missions he picked.
Yes, it trickles out from there. And then sort of taking his time, actually, in the early going. And then by then, he kind of had to rush it a little bit. Boy, that's rough.
It worked out for him, though. And
I guess he could have inspected first, technically. But...
He could have.
Boy. Oh, boy.
Smash stepping in to the spiral here to see if he can answer back with Sharper on the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, play it.
Boy, Spy win on high raise. I gotta imagine that's breaking serve a little bit.
Absolutely.
Beating the self-imposed handicap of the hardtails.
Picking up his first flip for 30% there.
Now, you notice he left Swap and Purloin in here. No bug or fingerprint.
I don't mind that so much, but I think I would like to see fingerprint instead of the inspect, because 3.5 minutes for 3 missions is plenty of time. You can totally get both the inspect and the fingerprint done. But the green Purloins come off.
Now, this is interesting.
We'll see how long this goes. Oh no, it gets taken by an SDA.
Right away, too. And by the way,
he sees it.
He was rejecting for a very long time. Very long. I was kind of shocked. You almost never see that with a Purloin.
Yeah, that's true.
Almost nobody waits 8 seconds to Purloin. I gave him all this time. Looked at the list before the reject, though, to make sure it was still there.
Yeah, that's true. Does pick up the highlight, presumably for either the Purloin or the Flirt, and it's the wrong Flirt if it is for that.
Yeah, and he's got too many highlights at this. He's really got to make some tough choices and narrow this down.
He does. He was trying to figure out who it was that was on the reject there, and he just has too many suspects.
Yeah,
so
it's not good.
Smash able to get away with a fairly clean Purloin there.
Now, this is an interesting question. I really like this point of the game. He's got a little under 2 minutes left. He could really use that last seduce, or at least one more. But you have to, like, move from one conversation to the next. Do you want to draw attention like that? And he chooses not to.
Using the window as a midpoint, it looks like. I like that play quite a bit.
Not a good path, though. He went straight to one side and then immediately to decide it was not good. But you can see what he's doing. He didn't want to go straight to the next one because it's very noticeable.
Yeah, the path wasn't great, but...
Does not green it, though. That's tough.
That's rough. He's going to need another Flirt on top of that.
Yeah, that could bite him.
Do you go for the double agent? What do you do here? There's 3 people outside of conversation.
It's too many people outside of conversation.
Yeah, I agree.
I understand that you're trying to maybe go with a statue-less game here, but you could still swap late, with the insert too.
Now people are starting to chat.
Yeah, swap is I don't mind leaving that in here. You got to check a lot of stuff early on. You got to remember a lot of stuff. And come with something that's not that visible.
Don't like this banana bread. There are just too many people outside of conversation. This gives off 3 big lowlights, and we.
If Sharper gets them, he's being very casual about this. Yeah, I don't know. Boy, I don't get that.
And there's the last Flirt coming off. Oh, Sharper with a huge shot on Smash there. Wow. First player to break serve the entire game, and man, that was an impressive one.
All I gotta imagine is that he must have been more confident that he was the one who purloined than we'd realized.
Yeah.
And the BB, which was a white BB, worth pointing out, By the way, it lined up really well. It was the classic BB that happens just with the head move. You know, that
Yeah.
you get good at catching after a while. I guess he was just really convinced it was him. I don't know what he was doing with his highlights. It could be one of those situations. Sometimes you suspect someone so much that if it's on a balcony or high rise or a small group like that, you don't even bother changing your highlights and lowlights for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know who you're tunneled on. You're just waiting for confirmation. And if
Yeah.
anything, you'll give the spy information if they see your laser darting around for lowlights.
Yeah.
Then they'll know they're a big suspect. So he might have actually been incredibly suspicious on that purloin and was just waiting.
Yeah.
And didn't even need to bother with the lowlights. Yeah.
I remember I was in a situation a little while ago where this was such a funny game on Veranda. I start the game off, and I'm looking around. I memorize the statues, notice one of the guys at the bookcase, swing around, memorize the other statues, come on back. Wait a second, that guy's at the other bookcase now.
Yeah.
That's weird. I'm going to go over to the other side to check on Toby. Yeah, the list's still there. Come on back. Wait a second. Now he's at statues. This is probably the spy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I was basically tunneled on him the entire game, and immediately after that, he went into a conversation with an SDA, and Banana Bread went off. He wasn't, but it would have been a green, so I'm like, he can't be done yet. There's no way he's done yet. I'm giving him credit for 2 inspects, the BB, and the transfer. I'm gonna see something. So I just keep watching him the entire game, and he just keeps on going back to green bookcase, and eventually, once it's like his 3rd or 4th time there, I'm like, okay, I've done something wrong. There's no way this is the spy.
Right,
So I start lowlighting as many people as I can, and then a time ad goes off. So, I've now confirmed that the guy was tunneling on the entire game wasn't the gaffer.
Oh, I hate that.
And I'm like bringing people back up from low light. I have no idea what's going on. I can't even remember what happened at the end of the game. I just know it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's one of those games where you're just like, I'm lost. At that point, it's a little fun at least because you could just say, you know what? Whatever I feel like doing. I'm going to lowlight for anything. I'm going to highlight for anything. I just have to make a lot of really aggressive choices in a short period of time to salvage this game.
Exactly. That's exactly what I did. I think I lost it, but still, it was fun.
Probably. If you spent that much time tunneling on one person and then you realized they weren't the spy, I'd be really impressed if you were able to come back from that.
Yeah. I'd probably remember if I did. Anyways, back to modern again. Back to the pretty broken art, as Sharper steps into the spiral, looking to widen his lead a bit with Smash on the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. And as is, this map is incredibly spy-friendly.
Yeah. Pretty and broken, I like that. It's like, yeah.
Oh god, no! It's so bad! Oh god, it's so bad! Oh my god.
Now she is broken. that was one of the worst bugs I think I've ever seen.
Guys, let's see that in slow motion instant replay from the sniper's point of view.
It felt like it was in slow motion. It wasn't really hidden, was it?
Watch this. Look at this. There's the arm. It's right there.
Hi. You always say that if the bug goes off really obviously, it's like you're just waving to the sniper.
Yep.
Hi,
yep.
it's me. Yeah, this map is like right now. This is like a bad relationship you can't get out of. It's so pretty, but I know it's bad for me, and it's not good. That
was funny.
That's awesome.
Oh my god, that was funny. Okay, so Sharper. Smash has a big chance to tie things up here now.
Yes, he does. Yes.
Let's see what he can do on this in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Casting the art demo level. Okay, same character.
Is he gonna no control this? He might no control this.
You know, that actually might work with the bug paranoia.
Nope,
oh, there he goes.
He doesn't take control.
Probably wise, given that if you're... Remember, you should be very patient. Oh, highlight for talking.
17% on the flirt.
But there's 3
highlights.
It's and then 1 back down. It's meaningless. Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to a lot of this.
This is even more behavioral than balcony.
And that's saying something. Yeah. Oh wow, yeah. I gotta say, I feel from that angle that the ambassador, it looked like a wrong arm bug from him, frankly, but he gets
It, it almost did, but I don't know what that low light was for. Maybe it was one of those, well, if that was a wrong arm bug, I lose. So
I think it's one of those things where he's trying to identify the ambassador and he left.
like banana bread.
Oh, and not, by the way, we talked about how these talking animations are subtle. One she was doing is one of the least subtle of the new ones. The hands go up and down a few times. It's actually might be a little unbalanced. Her talking animations are a little more noticeable, that one at least.
Well, yeah,
because she gesticulates with the hands a lot, right?
Well, she's also got that one where she just kind of puts her hands up and shakes her head, and that one's very unnoticeable. So
yeah, I've noticed the kind of Rhett Butler, Gone with the Wind, Alec Baldwin-looking guy. I think his talking animations are the sunless for the most part, maybe followed by the Helen Mirren type. But the young woman there, easily the most visible animations. I can see that being a big deal eventually.
Absolutely. The other really noticeable talking animation that I've noticed is that one, Tiberius's mustache smoothing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he gets shot for it.
I don't like the way he smoothed that mustache. Mustache smoothing is a mission, right? Just checking. Asking for
Absolutely, of course. You get points for that. You get points for smoothing your mustache.
Yeah.
So
you wanna,
females are nerfed.
If you're gonna die, you want to die with a smooth mustache, at least.
Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, we are all tied up once more. It's 6-6 in a 1st-to-9 going into the ballroom. Sharper on the spy. Smash on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, play.
And swap, one of the missions that gets cut here.
That's perfectly reasonable.
Mm-hmm. And inspect. Okay, so no statues necessary for any missions.
Oh, isn't that... Oh, God. Uh-oh.
Oh,
okay, gets away with it. Smash was busy on his lowlights as that head was going, so...
Too much commotion. The statue thing is very interesting for two reasons. Obviously, it'll throw off most people's highlight strategies. Even people don't normally do it for statues. They kind of have to in Ballroom. It makes a lot of sense on Ballroom.
Indeed.
Kind of like how it makes a lot of sense on CY2. It's kind of the same thing. And the other one being that it's just now you have a surefire way of trying to shed suspicion because you have no reason to be at statues at all.
Absolutely.
It doesn't work if either mission is active.
Sharper, though, has to spend a lot of time looking at the ambassador here. You really got to pay attention to what he's doing. And right now, he's not doing much.
Yeah, you really got to guard the ambo on Ballroom. There are a lot of angles from which it's very hard to guard that bug. It's probably one of the easier hardtails if you had to pick one, all else being equal. So I think you got to camp the ambo pretty hard on this level, and he's not doing it like you say at the moment.
Stepping into statues to shed some suspicion. And green bookcase is now hot for fingerprint.
Yeah, very interesting. And spending some time at statues, knowing full well that it can be used to shed suspicion. Uh-oh, don't be
third
third person
bookcase for a flirt, and it's not even going to come off.
Oh, boy. Yeah, not only going to come off, and even if it did, doing it
But he can finish up his microfilm here. Hits the green on that. Oh, that was clean. He got away with that one.
Yeah, not bad. It was not too visible unless you're looking right at him. I gotta say, though, that flirt, obviously timed badly, and it's third shelves, and you have to do it before you pick up the book, so it can be very noticeable. I don't like it.
Ooh, that was a nice bug, though.
Totally invisible. From the sniper cam, he was zoomed in on near the middle of the room. Did not see a thing.
Other than that bookcase move, I think Sharper is playing this incredibly well. Also, that path was a
He
bit
did not like
bad.
that path. Yeah, he didn't like
Oh no! He left at the exact wrong moment! Oh God, the sadness! I mean, he died anyway, but still.
I think that convinced him all at once. I think he went from being not a suspect at all to dead just because of a weird path. And by the way, once it's really hard not to go into confirmation bias mode. When you think it's him, they start talking, and then there's the BB, and it all lines up so perfectly, and you think, boy, if that is an AI, that's really something. And you just take the shot. And you know what's funny? at that point, he didn't have any reason to think he was that far behind, although he was.
Indeed.
So kind of interesting that he took the shot there.
Yeah.
He might have thought, I don't like any of my other suspects, and this guy's lining up really well. But what I find really interesting is that often when the DA leaves right as it happens, obviously that's bad, but it also makes you less suspicious usually because suddenly it looks like a fake if they're not paying much attention.
But you see, that one was so close that the BB very well could have gone off in time. It was
and he was already staring at him.
Split-second leave.
Yeah, and if he wasn't already staring at him, I think it might have actually worked to his advantage a little bit,
Yeah.
but he didn't.
Absolutely. But, yeah, that was just...
Oh,
it was brilliantly played right up to about a minute and 15. And then there was the weird path that got caught into conversation, into the banana bread, into the reject, and there you go.
And just like the red BB blowing that other game, we've had a lot of spy wins that just got lost.
Indeed.
Just barely.
So, big pickup from Smash there. We'll see if he can do it on the spiral as well. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, a lot of spy wins have been left by the side of the road here.
Yeah. Oh my god, that pathing was glorious.
Not bad, although he sidles up next to two people, tries to get a flirt off and cannot. Ooh.
I'd call that a net average as far as the opening goes.
Yeah, well, you see there
Bug,
again, that
bug alert. No, he didn't go for it. I'm surprised.
Okay, that's not good because from the sniper's perspective, it looks like he could have bugged anyway. So you kind of you either steer clear or you just go ahead and do it anyway because he's gonna think you could have.
Indeed. Red inspect doesn't really matter because we're on a side statue, but still.
Boy, yeah, I think he's either got a bug or not.
Yeah, and this is a much more standard mission setup. It's no books and no fingerprint.
ST leaves as he enters, and boy, we're over a minute into the game, and all he's got are 2 inspects, and he left a little early on the empty CC too.
Yeah, Smash, I think, is having a bit of a rough game on the spiral here.
Yeah, and I don't like what just happened. He started to follow his ST and then just went to Windows instead. I think just go do something else, or just own it and go flirt by bookshelves.
Yeah.
It's not as obvious here as it is in some other maps. You can get away with it.
Bad bounce against the SDA on the way across.
Ooh, staying for more than a full... Oh, breaks animation on the empty CC again.
This is a very choppy game from Smash here.
Yeah. Now, against certain people, that's not necessarily going to kill you, but I will say that if you were playing a really experienced sniper, and Sharper, quite good, no doubt about it, but if he's playing someone, who's got 4,000, 5,000 games under their belt, I think either one of those could have gotten him killed.
Yeah, anyone like Canadian Bacon, KCM, someone like Draw, maybe Varanos, Virafo, people like those.
There we go.
Oh god, there it is.
Purloin. Yeah, he was
on the
all over
purloin.
it. He already suspected him. He had 2 different errors where he was the pathing error where you catch up to someone you're walking behind and sort of slide along behind them. That happened twice. Broke animation twice. The first time he broke animation, it was very subtle, very slight. A lot of people wouldn't notice it, but the second time it was very blatant.
Indeed. So, tied up at 7, going in to Courtyard 1. Now, if we split this set, that means we're going on to missions equals points.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
no. Yes.
No!
Those of you who don't know about missions equals points, we'll explain it when the time comes.
It. Get out of here. There's still hope for you.
We'll explain it when the time comes, if missions equals points happens. But
God.
Just know that it is super exciting, and when you're actually playing the games, it is the most stressful thing in existence after a set of SpyParty like this.
Yeah, it's like trying to defuse a bomb in your underwear in front of your grade school class. It's like the most stressful environment possible.
Wait, what?
You've never done that?
That was the most random analogy.
Yeah, well, that's literally what popped into my head when I thought of stress, so there we go.
Oh,
maybe while taking a test? Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, it's like the final exam for all of university at the same time while defusing a bomb.
Yeah. It's like, here's a multiple choice question, and if you guess wrong, you're dead.
While you have a gun to your head.
While you have a gun to your head.
It's stressful. We might not see it. We shall see.
Let's hope.
It all depends on how Courtyard 1 turns out. Let's see what Sharper can do on the spiral here. In 3, 2, 1, playing it, and he leaves inspects in, which I like. I would love to see him not do it. What I don't like is there's no fingerprint.
Yeah, I don't love it either. Although I will say that there are a handful of people, and I might be among them, not really that confident yet about their ability to do fingerprint. Haven't really practiced it much. And in those scenarios, it's a pretty tough call because ideally you would be good at it and leave it in. But if you're not good at it, should you? You know, that's a tough call.
I would agree, but on Courtyard 1, it is so difficult to get those inspects done without dying in the face. That I really think you need to have the fingerprint in as a backup.
So you're not so much saying that you think fingerprint is viable, you're just saying you got to find a way to do something other than inspect.
Exactly. I think what needs to happen at this point in the meta is you have to leave fingerprint in but not do it, and that was a nice bug, but it got caught.
Yeah, nice bug and nice catch. You got to give credit where it's due. I really like seeing those types of games. By the way, a lot of this match so far has been really defined by Spy's playing well and then blowing it, which you kind of hate to see, even though it's very exciting. What I like to see is this. But the
snipers still need to make those big catches.
Right, but this is what I like the most. Well, for Red BB, things like that, there's not a whole lot to say. But this is my favorite type, when someone does a good bug, a good move, and there's a good catch on it. There's good play all around. I think that's what the game's all about, so good catch.
Let's have another look at that bug, actually, because that was quite a nice one. If you look at it from Sniper Cam, here it goes.
Yeah. Gutsy, too.
There it is!
By the way,
that was it! That was the whole bug!
Yeah, not bad. Right in front of him, and I gotta say, I really like that. Sometimes you want to do it right in front of him, because that's when they're not going to expect you to do it.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go interactive Sniper Cam on this. I think it was around... This is where the angle was, and I'm going to zoom in on it. So you see... Look at that! That's all that it was! Just that tiny little... You couldn't even see the arm go out. You can just see it not moving.
It does not look that different from normal arm sway. I'm really impressed by that bug.
That was a fantastic pickup.
And I'm really impressed by the decision to do it in front of him. I think that's underrated. I think people should... You know what? Honestly, when I'm playing a test set of games with someone, if I'm playing 20 or 30 even casually, I will sometimes bug right in their face every now and then. Yeah, just to see what happens, because you'll be amazed at how often that's the one place they don't look because they feel like they've got it covered. And it forces them to really watch the AMBA if they want to watch the AMBA. Sometimes it just goes through.
Yeah, absolutely.
The aggression, you force them to really watch the things, because right now the sniper feels like they have two sets of eyes. They have the actual things they look at with their eyes, and then they have the things where they can position their camera to dare the spy to do it, knowing that they usually won't. And it gives them double the coverage unless you don't let them get away with it. So good move.
So here's the situation. Smash has one match point, but he's on the spiral on Courtyard 1. It's a very difficult map to win as Spy, but he does have that match point under his belt. If he can find a big clutch win here, it's game over. He comes away with the win on this. If not, we're going into missions equals points. Let's see what happens in 3,
I'm not rooting for it.
1, playing it.
I like the drama, but I just can't handle it. I don't want to. I'm rooting for him unashamedly right here.
I always root for the Spy. I just think Spy wins are exciting. Oh, a fake BB! Unfortunately, he's in convo with an STA.
Oh, wow, yeah. And you know what? He's not low-lighting people for possible fakes either anyway, so...
Yeah.
Pretty dubious. I think that's what...
There's the real banana bread coming off.
Look, that makes sense if you are watching the logs between your games and you're seeing that they're being very aggressive with lowlights on BBs. For example, they're lowlighting anyone who couldn't have done a real BB. Then you want to make them pay for that. You want to extract something. But in this case, I haven't noticed that happening at all. In fact, neither of them have been very strong about lowlights, even the out-of-conversation ones. So I'm not sure I totally get that. Maybe it's a misclick. I don't know.
4 lowlights on the board for Sharper, though, and Smash with a highlight. contact done and 34% on the flirt is not in the best of positions. That was messy. Should have bugged there. It was free.
Not visible, though, from the sniper cam. I will say, by the way, that though he has a highlight, and though he's given up a lot of lowlights, all but one person who's not low-lit is high-lit, I think. Or maybe two. Two, actually. Way too many highlights. So, not as bad as it seems.
That's why I was saying that he should have bugged on it, because even though it was just a blatant giving the ambassador a hug, it was completely invisible. So if that arm went out, no one's any the wiser.
Let's see if he takes 2 cycles here at this statue. This is something that a lot of people should do more often and don't. He does not.
Only 1 cycle.
Now, this is understandable. For a long time, it's easy to forget to do that. A lot of people don't realize that the AI usually does too. You got to be willing to do it, I think, most of the time.
It's not a hard tell, but it is definitely a tell.
It's something the spy does more often because, hey, their inspect's done. They have no reason to be there. It's efficient.
Indeed. Absolutely.
Now, I got to give him a little bit of credit for not making the rookie mistake and standing close enough so that even a white will get it for him, and it does. And be surprised, we saw earlier how often people don't stand close enough to achieve their objective, even with a green or even with a white.
And man, if he had that bug from earlier in the game, at that big opportunity, he would be 1 inspect away from doing this. But that inspect can be so hard on this map.
He's got 30 seconds left. I gotta imagine he's either gonna try to frame or inspect swap. He doesn't really have a lot of other options. Maybe purloin inspect, something.
I think it's gotta be the inspect swap, and that's... Ooh.
Path.
This is interesting.
Sniper on the wrong side for several seconds.
There's the swap coming off before the inspect. That's just wrong. He put it down.
Nice shot anyway. Boy, I don't know what he was. You know what? I hate to say this, but you gotta wonder if maybe he kind of forgot that he needed another inspect. It's the only way I can make sense of his actions, really. He might have just thought, well, I went to statues already, and
maybe.
Boy, I don't know.
But yeah, I think if he got that bug, he may well have put this match away right then and there. But as is, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain to you this little format we have called Missions Equals Points.
Please go ahead.
Here's how it works. 1 player, as the spy, plays on known everything on whatever map you're playing on. Every time he completes a mission, he gets a point. If the sniper shoots him, he's stuck with the points he has, his run is over. If the sniper shoots the wrong person, then he gets maximum points. Then you switch, and the person who was sniping is now spying, and has to try to beat the number of points the first person got. If you're still tied, you do it again.
It's ridiculous, put it that way.
It's nuts. Generally, sniping first is a big advantage. So generally, what we'll see is the person who is higher up on the ladder, the person who was being challenged, gets to choose whether or not to pick to spy or snipe first, or pick the map. So
let's explain why that is real quick. If you go spy first, you really don't know how many missions you're ultimately going to need, so you have to play a very standard strategy of just trying to maximize them. Maybe make a little guess, like I think 5 will probably be enough, so maybe you'll try to get 3 or 4 and then crash bug for the 5th, something like that. But if you go second, you know exactly what it is. You can craft your entire game around it, so you definitely want to go second.
Example. Let's say, for example, you're sniping first, your opponent gets... say 6 missions done. Once you have 5 missions done on your spy run, you have a decision to make. If you think you're suspicious, give the ambassador a hug. You'll get shot, you can get the reset on it. If you don't think you're suspicious, you can get 1 other mission done, and then give the ambassador a hug, and you will get shot, but you've won anyways, so it doesn't matter.
And if they catch you early on, if they get caught after like a mission or 2, you might literally be able to just, flirt and BB and force them to shoot or something like that. The knowledge is very useful in this case. And I gotta say, there are a lot of good people, smart, good players, who just have trouble wrapping their head around the strategy of this, especially
Indeed.
when you go first. Checker, for example, he made a couple errors at missions equals points, and where when he posted about it later, said, "I clearly realized I should have done this. It didn't occur to me, at the time." It's a little counterintuitive. The missions you should save, certain ones you shouldn't do early on, etc. And you see that a lot, even with good players.
Any missions that come off really fast, you generally want to save. Purloin and Contact DA are great to save because if you call Toby over and as he's coming in, you BB and grab the guest list, that's 2 missions back to back that you can't really get shot for until the second one's come off.
Yeah, unless they're going to be really aggressive and shoot you for what they think is about to happen, and that's where the game gets really interesting, by the way.
Indeed. But as a sniper, you can't really afford to take the wrong shot.
Yeah, but it does lead, I will say, depending on the order, one thing I really like is the strategy becomes very random at times. We saw this with Manatters recently, where it was actually in his interest, because only 1 or 2 missions were needed, it was in his interest to just shoot someone randomly at the start of the game, just to see.
Yeah, like, I had a game of missions equals points versus Manatters, I think it was, where what had happened was he swapped as his first mission, and I shot him for it. And this was on High Rise. And the next game starts up, I'm a spy, and I decide to no control. Because I know he has to shoot someone. And lo and behold, one of the AI goes to the center statue and immediately dies. Anyways, here we go. Enough anecdotes. Let's get into the tiebreaker here. It's missions equals points on Veranda, no Nate. Smash10101 on the Sniper. Sharper on the Spy. Let's see what he can do in 3, 2, 1. Playing it. Sharper starting things out nice and slow. I would like to see him go pick up, I guess, the flirt and inspect, and it looks like that's what he's doing. Just getting progress done without... He does pick up a highlight, but it's not a bad highlight, and you don't go back to statues for a while.
Oh boy, this is interesting. Because he hit the edge of the statue pad, his green was only worth 48%. That is very interesting.
That sucks.
Yeah, you don't see that often. He must have really hit the end of it there.
Yeah.
That's significant. That's really significant. One of the nice things about those is that you're at full proximity most of the time.
Indeed, that's brutal.
As suspicious as it is to go to statues, though, no one's going to get shot for doing the inspects, given that he's going first. That's one thing you will absolutely not get shot for. It might make him watch you closer, but you can do your inspects and your flirt with impunity. He's not going to fire until he's sure. In theory.
I think you're right. But again, I really don't like going to statues twice early because I feel like it makes you so suspicious that you can't really get away with much else before that shot comes off.
Right.
Was only able to get... Oh my god! Smash with the bad shot! I don't know who it was or why it was, but it happened! And ladies and gentlemen, Sharper comes away with 8 points off the top.
It wasn't a great path, but I don't see anything too bad. He'd obviously been to statues early, because that's where the flirt came off. Boy, there's just no excuse for that. No matter how suspicious you think he looks, you haven't seen a hardtail, and he can't be done with more than a couple. Just no reason to be that aggressive. No reason.
Well, thing is, there is reason to be that aggressive. Because, as we were discussing earlier, if you can get a big shot off early on, when your opponent hasn't really got much done yet, that's like straight up winning it on the sniper roll. Because your opponent has to just shoot.
The risk reward is so out of whack potentially, though, and you gotta have a little self knowledge. You gotta go, hey, when someone takes an early shot, if their name isn't Virafo, how often do they actually end up, doing that versus hurting themselves? I don't know. I can understand the kind of swing for the fences, but I think you take that shot if you're actually not that confident. Maybe you went into the match a big underdog, for example, challenge far ahead of yourself. Got to do a little bit of an all or nothing thing, but otherwise, I think you want to play for the 3 missions or 4. And play it a little safe, but very aggressive shot, and he's going to have to get the same thing out of Sharper in order to force a tie.
I honestly agree with you. I feel like playing for the 3 or 4 missions is better, just because I have seen so many of these missions equals points go off to a bum shot. But if you think you see a bad path, and you know you can close out this set right now if that's him, it can be so tempting. And because people are just not used to playing this game types, people make weird decisions.
Yeah, I can understand that for sure. And, you know, the heat of the moment, you got to remember, they've played a very close match to this point.
Indeed.
And they're playing. We're nervous watching missions versus points.
Yeah,
they're playing it. The pressure is going to get to you sometimes. Pretty tough. And I can understand just wanting it to be over, too.
Yeah, that's true.
There's an element of that, you know?
Yeah.
So I can certainly understand the appeal. But in this case, it looks like it's going to hurt him.
Yeah. So, Sharper on the Sniper here can play things nice and slow and safe. Smash on the Spy needs either an ace or a bum shot to tie it and reset it to start over again. Let's see what he can do here in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So, okay, here's what you do. Obviously, you could technically camp one mission really hard and just wait for that. But they might, if it's the wrong mission, if it's something like bug or swap or something, they might have it done even as you notice, so you can't really camp it. So what you really got to do is you got to camp 2 hardtail missions really hard. Just camp the living daylights out of 2 hardtail missions, and then just wait. And don't shoot until you see one.
Yeah. I remember doing exactly this when I was playing a No 8 game. I capped Swap and Purloin.
Yeah. And did it work?
Well, it wasn't actually missions equals points. It was just a No 8 game on Veranda. But what happened was the swap came off, and I had it down to 3. And I was just staring at Toby the entire time, and the clock's ticking down, and I noticed someone got a green time ad, but I can't figure out who it was, and the clock hits 0, and nobody's taken the guest list yet. That guy got 10 green time ads before he finally purloined and I shot him.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's actually one of the reasons there are certain combinations of hardtails you can't necessarily camp. In that case, he could do a green purloin and go swap right around the time it goes off, and then you're in trouble. So you have to actually pick a mix of hardtails that would be almost impossible for them to sneak by you simultaneously like that, because they can do it. It's tough. You're probably going to catch them either way. But if you pick something like bug and swap, or bug and purloin, microfilm maybe, it makes it a little easier.
Yeah. I think probably the best set to go with, especially on this map because it's so hard to camp the Ambassador the entire time, I would say swap microfilm.
Yeah, I can see that. Although I will say that one benefit to Purloin and Swap is that you know when they're done. And you know when they're not. Microfilm and Bug, you don't. So there's actually a lot of calculus in deciding even what missions to camp. By the way, really interesting here, Red Plaid, Smash, gets the Bug off. Clearly has to decide very soon whether or not he's actually going to try to finish or try to frame.
Indeed.
He's sort of doing missions, but he's not really doing them quick enough. So either he's going to time out a bunch, which by the way can work for the reason you
Here we go.
Yeah.
1 white.
I actually like this. If you're going to try to frame, you kind of have to time ad a bunch, and they're not going to want to shoot for time ads because time ads are never hard tells. Even if you're looking right at them and it's white, you can't always be positive there wasn't someone on the other side. It's very hard to be positive.
That's true.
So they're almost never going to, because right now he's just thinking, whatever I do, I'm not shoot the wrong person. So he's going to be very lenient about the time ads. Very lenient.
Oh, the shot comes off!
Wow. I gotta say, I don't think I like that shot unless he was positive.
I think you wait on that. I really do. But Smash only able to get 2 missions off of that. And Sharper
not enough.
Coming out with the win. Man.
Yeah, that is something. Whew, oh boy. I think it might be a little risky, unless, again, it's possible that he almost completely saw the bug. It's possible that he was looking right at the time ad and saw that there was almost no one else around. Yeah. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's certainly possible. But it's still really hard to take that shot. I do like the time ad thing, though. Because they're not going to want to shoot for timeouts. It's just not a hard enough of a tell, even if you're looking right at it.
Man, oh man, what a finish, though.
Always exciting. Always exciting.
Never a dull moment in the world of SpyParty.
Yeah, especially when missions equals points. I said missions versus points. That's what I always think of.
So, a little bit of housekeeping before we go. SpyParty Summer Cup is underway. I have my week 1 match tomorrow at 5 p.m. I'm going to stream it if I can. We'll see how my internet's holding up. It should work out, but
who did you say you were playing?
I am playing Kaikar.
Okay, all right. Well, you got your work cut out for you, but
I do. It's gonna be a hard one. Not as not as hard as Turnout, which I also have to play, but.
Oh dear. Well, you know what? You've had some excellent matches, and I certainly think you've surprised a lot of people with some of them. So here's to it. I'll be cheering for you. Good luck. You'll need it, but you might be able to pull it off.
I mean, hell, I've surprised myself with a lot of them as well.
Excellent.
So,
well, I look forward to it.
Me too. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that game. It's going to be a blast. So yeah, that happens at 5 o'clock Eastern tomorrow.
Welcome back.
Oh God,
to
what's
Super
that?
Amazing Leg.
Sounds okay. I fixed it. That was weird. For some reason, all my paused YouTube videos started playing at the same time.
Oh boy. Oh dear.
That was odd. So yeah, there's that. A couple other things I want to say. First off, last week on the Tuesday, I got a $10 donation from Catherine Lee, which I totally missed. So thanks a ton to Catherine for that. I cast SpyParty. This is a weekly thing I do. Tuesdays with Warning Track, 9 p.m. Eastern, as well as Fridays on my own. And Sundays I cast the ladder games with Crazy Kaylee at twitch.tv/SpyParty, also at 9 p.m. Eastern. I don't know if there's anything else I really need to say here.
No, internet calmed down. We stuck it out, and it worked out great.
Indeed it did. So thanks a ton for coming out to cast with me as usual.
Thank you for having me. I always enjoy it, and great set, too, that you picked.
Yeah, this was a good one.
Very entertaining.
So, without further ado, thanks everyone who came out to watch, and until next time, this is Taboshi and Morning Track, signing off.